Senator Cordy.
Honourable Senators, I move that this bill be read a second time.
It is moved by the Honourable Senator Cordy, seconded by the Honourable Senator Dalphond, that this bill be read a second time. On debate, Senator Cordy.
Thank you, Speaker. Honourable Senators, Canada is a country with a rich heritage of immigrants from all over the world arriving on our shores to pursue the dream of a better life for themselves and their families. Bill S-246 aims to recognize and celebrate the experiences and contributions Lebanese Canadians have made and continue to make to Canada. As the preamble to the bill states, Lebanese Canadians have for generations made significant social, economic, cultural, religious, military, philanthropic, and political contributions to our social fabric and to the strength, resiliency, and diversities of our community. Colleagues, I must begin my remarks by first acknowledging Member of Parliament for Halifax West, Lena Metledge-Diab, whose leadership on this initiative has been instrumental. Lena is a longtime community leader and active member of the Halifax Lebanese community. In 2010, she was a recipient of the Outstanding Professional of the Year Award from the Canadian Lebanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She has served as president of the Canadian Lebanon Society of Halifax at several intervals since 1993, including 2013, when the Society celebrated its 75th anniversary. Honourable Senators, according to the 2016 census data of those respondents who identified as Lebanese, Canada is home to 220,000 Canadian Lebanese. However, unofficial estimates by Global Affairs Canada put the number anywhere between 200,000 and 400,000. The largest Lebanese communities are in Montreal and Toronto. Recognizing and celebrating a Lebanese Heritage Month will encourage Lebanese Canadians across the country to share their stories, share their traditions, and to share their culture with all Canadians. With the passage of this bill, each and every year throughout Canada, the month of November would be designated as Lebanese Heritage Month. Honourable Senators, why designate November as Lebanese Heritage Month? From time immemorial, the region of modern-day Lebanon had been under the rule of any number of empires, dynasties, or colonial powers. Beginning in 1920, the region fell under the French colonial rule. In 1940, during the Second World War, the Nazi-installed Vichy France government assumed power over Lebanon. While the war continued, the Vichy government was removed in 1941 as Nazi control of Europe eroded and Allied forces made military gains in the region. General Charles de Gaulle visited Lebanon shortly after Vichy France released control of the region. National leaders in Lebanon approached de Gaulle requesting independence. On November 26, 1941, General Charles Coutreau, a delegate general under de Gaulle, proclaimed the independence of Lebanon. However, this proclamation was essentially a hollow gesture, as France maintained administrative and political control over the region. In defiance of France, and following national elections in early November 1943, the first order of business for the new government was to amend the Lebanese constitution to abolish France's mandate over the country. On November 11, 1943, the Lebanese flag flew for the first time over Lebanon. The French government responded by arresting and imprisoning the newly elected president, prime minister, and several other ministers. Under immense pressure from other countries and wartime allies, such as the United States, the United Kingdom, the Arab states, and the Soviet Union, France had little choice but to reconsider. On the morning of November 22, 1943, France released their political prisoners, and after 23 years of French colonial rule, Lebanon was then officially an independent state. November 22nd has since been recognized and celebrated to mark Lebanon's independence. The month of November holds significant importance for the population of Lebanon, Lebanese nationals, and Lebanese descendants worldwide. Honourable Senators, in 2018, my province of Nova Scotia became the second province to officially recognize November as Lebanese Heritage Month. Ontario was the first to do so in 2017. Nova Scotia has a robust Lebanese community with a rich history in our province. Many of the first Lebanese immigrants coming to Canada landed in Nova Scotia beginning in the late 1800s, and they chose to make the province their new home. In 2018, a statue commemorating Lebanese immigrants was unveiled in Halifax. It portrays a Lebanese traveler wearing traditional clothes. The plaque accompanying the statue reads, and I quote, "This monument is a universal symbol of a proud, strong, and globally united Lebanese community. The statue honors the early Lebanese settlers who 130 years ago established a presence in this country, sowing the bonds of loyalty, faith, and perseverance. We are thankful to our Nova Scotia community and for the enduring friendships built in our new home, Canada," unquote. Nova Scotia is also home to the Canadian-Lebanon Society of Halifax, one of the oldest Lebanese societies in North America. This past weekend, the 15th annual Cedar Lebanese Festival took place in Halifax. This annual festival was first conceived in 2006 under the leadership of Father Pierre Aziz and the Parish Council of Our Lady of Lebanon Church. The focus of the Lebanese Cedar Festival in Halifax is to, and I quote, "promote and foster the Lebanese culture and traditions as integral elements of Canada's multicultural mosaic, and to provide a venue for Canadians of Lebanese heritage to reacquaint themselves with their rich roots. The Cedar Festival is an opportunity for families and groups of all ages to be together to experience the culture and heritage in a fun, free, and safe atmosphere," unquote. Honourable Senators, my husband and I spent last Saturday afternoon at the Lebanese Cedar Festival. It was a wonderful sunny afternoon with singing, dancing, and games for the children. Of course, there was plenty of homemade traditional Lebanese food. Best of all, there were lots of smiling faces and friendly people. It was the first festival since COVID, so there was a special feeling of coming together again. When the festival was cancelled in 2020, the community rallied to donate 2,000 meals of Lebanese food to first responders, healthcare workers, and to charities. Honourable Senators, Canada's story is one of immigration. People from all over the world have left their homes, some by choice, but far too many have been forced to leave their homelands to forge a new life in Canada. We know that immigration enriches Canadian society and grows the economies in communities large and small, urban and rural, and remote, and leads to stronger Canadian trade and cultural ties with other countries. Canada is not so much the melting pot that we are told growing up. Canada is rather like a big salad, with each culture adding a new ingredient and a new flavor. Cultures are not lost like they would be in a melting pot, but rather they come together to complement each other for a truly Canadian flavor. Colleagues, in 2015, a report entitled Economic Benefits of Immigration, the Impact of Halifax's Lebanese Community, was prepared by the Halifax Greater Partnership and the Canadian Lebanese Chamber of Commerce. The aim of the report was to provide a case study and summary of the impacts that immigrants have on the Canadian and Halifax economies, with a focus on the Lebanese experience in Halifax. According to the National Household Survey, the broader Lebanese community in Halifax in 2015 was 4,500 people. However, unofficial estimates put the number close to 7,000. Officially, the Lebanese community makes up 3.75% of the Halifax population, of which nearly 20% are self-employed. the Lebanese Chamber of Commerce the Lebanese Chamber of Commerce in Halifax counts among its members owners of many restaurants, owners of grocery and convenience stores, and owners of construction and real estate development companies. They are innovators and they are entrepreneurs. The report estimated that developers from the Lebanese community were responsible for nearly $4 billion in construction in Nova Scotia between 2005 and 2015. And that number has grown significantly since then. The report also estimated that direct and indirect employment related to the Halifax Lebanese community and related business in Halifax is between 4,000 and 5,000 full-time jobs. Honourable Senators, the Canadian Lebanese community, like all immigrant communities who have chosen to make Canada home, have contributed greatly to the fabric of a Canadian society and an enriching Canadian culture. I know in my province, Lebanese businesses have made an indelible mark on the city of Halifax with billions of dollars in construction projects. And let's not forget another significant cultural contribution to my province, when, as the story goes, in 1901, Lebanese immigrant George Sabib introduced what would become the unofficial card game of Cape Breton, Terabish. For those who are from Cape Breton, you would probably all have played Terabish. I know that many Cape Bretoners still enjoy a good game of Terabish with friends around the kitchen table. Honourable Senators, I hope you will join me and support this bill in recognition of the rich history and contributions the Lebanese community has made to Canadian society. I look forward to hearing about the contributions Lebanese Canadians have made in your corner of Canada. Thank you.